People of Earth, I come to you today with grim news. Your bodies are disgustingly and grotesquely polluted. Yes, I know you know, but it's true and it's worse than you think, from the macro level in your bowels to the microscopic cells that make up the very fabric of your existence. Everything is gross. But I have a solution. This is going to be a lot of fun. This two-part episode, documentary style, is the first of its kind for Off Topic. It's called The Master Cleanse. This first half, part one, is going to be primarily from the studio. I'm going to teach you about the Master Cleanse and tell you some stories. But you want to know who invented it and how long ago? I got a hint for you. It's a long time ago, and that's a cool thing because nowadays it seems like the pharmaceutical companies have a drug for everything with 17 side effects, worse than the thing it's supposed to treat in the first place. This thing is 85 years old and it's all natural. Makes it a little more challenging, but challenges are the spice of life. A couple of story teasers for you. You're going to hear why I should have taken a single dose instead of a double dose of laxative herbal tea. That was catastrophic. You're also going to hear about something else that's not so catastrophic, but equally anal, called the saltwater flush. Yes, you heard that correctly, and no, I'm not going to repeat it. Additionally, we're going to talk about more physiological symptoms and the stories attached to those, including what a high metabolism does when there's nothing to metabolize, and how that might impact you on a 30-degree day when you go out for a run. Second half's going to be more than stories. It's going to be the experiences themselves, or things. I got a lot of phone video clips that I took along the way. You'll come along as I do my relatively benign, yet impressively progressive every other day weigh-ins. We'll head into the kitchen, turned into a lemonade factory, take a look at the trash can, overrun with lemon peels. We'll also go to the gym and pump a little iron, get a little manly. Also some stuff from after my runs when I was feeling different ways on different days. Additionally, you're going to see, and more importantly, hear the physiological effects of a saltwater flush. It's kinda wild. At the end of it all, you're going to have heard about the books that were written about this cleanse, but you're going to know more than that, so much more, because the experience of living it with me is going to educate you in a completely new way and prepare you for the potential of doing this for yourself. I look forward to sharing it with you. I hope you look forward to listening. Here we go. What's up, Earthlings? Matt East here, and I got a question for you. What is the Master Cleanse? It's interesting how this thing trends, and I'm told it's kind of starting to trend again. I haven't really heard about it, but back in the 2000s, late 2000s, early 2010s, the Master Cleanse was a phenomenon, really. It was being practiced and used by celebrities, talked about a lot. It's on the internet. It's kind of a big deal, which is ironic because it was devised, created by a guy named Stanley Burroughs back in 1941. But what is the Master Cleanse? The more basic question is, what is a cleanse? A cleanse is like a reboot for the body. It's one of those things where when your computer's kind of gunked up or virusy, if you will, that's going to be ironic in a minute when we get into physiology and what goes on inside the human body. You know, you do that, power it down, start it back up again, and let the system start from zero. And a cleanse is another way, it's another version of that, designed for the biological body to essentially take the digestive system, bring it back to zero, and let it start again fresh, which if you think about it, it's a pretty damn cool idea. It's a good idea, but how do you devise that, and then what is it? You know, there's fasting. It's much more challenging. There's a lot of other reasons that people fast other than to try to detox their system. You also can't last as long. That's the problem with fasting because there are no calories. A cleanse is supposed to clean out the digestive system while allowing the body to continue to function. You can do it for any period of time you want. But I got excited about the Master Cleanse back around 2010 when a mentor of mine was getting into it, because again, it was kind of everywhere, and I didn't read the book or anything. Stanley Burroughs has a book. I don't remember when he wrote it. The Cleanse was developed in 1941. There's another book. I'm going to pull it up here really fast. It's called The Complete Master Cleanse by Tom Woloshin. It's a little more recent. Tom was kind of like a disciple of Stanley Burroughs. Somebody else, disciple of a disciple, generational shit. 1941 was a long time ago. But there's books out there you can read up on and learn a little bit more about it. But essentially, in a nutshell, the Master Cleanse takes a little bit of calories mixed with some chemically proven natural substances that literally just clean out the body. And what you do is you take a whole shit ton of lemons, which you're going to see in some of the snippets as we move forward here. You take some grade B maple syrup, which isn't marketed that way anymore. No one was buying it. It's really just dark maple syrup. It's just as good as grade A, but they changed it into grade A dark now. Either way, the darkest you can find is the stuff where the sap is directly created from the stuff coming right out of the roots. The minerals in the ground is in the syrup. It gives it a darker color. Tastes a little bit different, but it's super good for the body. It's really easy to digest, which is the key. And then some cayenne pepper, which is a scrubber for your innards. You take those 3 ingredients, dilute them in water, and drink it. And that's just all you freaking do for as long as you want to do it. The standard length that they recommend you try for as a minimum is 10 days. I'm in the middle of a Master Cleanse right now, my 3rd Master Cleanse of my life. Get into that a little later as well. But you go ahead and substitute all the stuff you're normally used to throwing in your gullet with one thing, which is the lemonade. And that is really, really hard to do, but really, really beneficial because the lemonade has the acidity of the lemons that ironically chemically reacts in the body to create a more alkaline state. It also is a kind of a loosener and a freer up on the molecular level of stuff that's kind of built up in your body just because of all the bad shit you've done to it since you were born. I don't think eating crayons counts when you were super duper little, but we've all done some horrible things to our bodies between then and now, and this is the reset. But the lemon juice, there's a reason it's in cleaning products and all kinds of stuff like that. It's got some really effective properties. It's in the book. I'm not going to get into it. The grade B maple syrup or the extra dark maple syrup is the calories, the super digestible, highly nutritious, but calories that really don't clog up your system at all. They just get absorbed and they allow you to function while you're doing this. And then the cayenne pepper for the scrub, and you go at it. Now you do a couple of other things. There's a laxative tea recommendation, like an herbal laxative tea that they say in whatever brand you want, but that's supposed to help clean you out, especially at the beginning. They kind of say do it every day, but the other option to clean you out that I don't want to say I like it, but that I'm doing is called a saltwater flush. So on a daily basis, you get up in the morning. Maybe you've had the laxative tea the night before and you got a little gurgly going on. So you go ahead and get rid of that. And then you do a saltwater flush, a couple teaspoons of uniodized sea salt into a quart of water. You guzzle it, try not to throw up. And whatever pace you got to do that, you don't have to pound it or whatever. It all gets down there. And your body can't absorb it because it's salt water, the same as the body produces or has in it anyway. And so it goes straight through your system, comes out the other end in between 30 to 90 minutes. Not the front end, the back end. I'm serious. It's like a faucet. It's sounds catastrophic, but it's really not. And it flushes out all the stuff that's getting loosened by the process of the Master Cleanse. Really get that digestive system clean so that it can totally shut down while you're doing the detox portion with the lemon juice and the cayenne, feeding yourself with the maple syrup, and voila, healthy human. But that's the intro, folks. What we're going to do with this whole thing is kind of give you a couple of a number of periodic videos. I'm going to weigh in about every other day. Been doing that. I'm actually on day 5 right now. And if I seem like I'm in a good mood, I'm faking it because this is not easy. Here's the book description. You're going to find this is funny. It's The Master Cleanse by Stanley Burroughs. And it's like, this is the original text by Stanley Burroughs. It's an easy to stick to 10-day cleansing program and diet that will leave you feeling clean and detoxed. Blah, 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 blah. It's not easy to stick to. It's fucking hard because you get hungry and then bad shit starts coming out of your body and you start to feel bad. But then all the bad shit gets out of your body. First, the hunger pains go away. I forgot to mention that because your stomach realizes it's not going to get anything and it stops screaming at you. Then you start to feel a little funky, maybe. Everybody's different. After you feel funky, you start to feel better. There's a gauge for this whole thing. Your tongue gets kind of white and then a little greenish along the way. Mine's turning white. It's going to get worse before it gets better. And then once that greenish turns back to kind of white and then back to pink toward the end of the thing, you kind of know, that's your gauge to know that your body is fully detoxed. That's in the book as well. But that's my intro. And what we're going to do is I'm going to give you more snippets of reality as I am going through this thing. First thing you're going to see is my first weigh-in after we get done here. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And then from there, I'm going to go kind of back and forth between the every other day weigh-ins and some more information about this crazy thing called the Master Cleanse that I'm just crazy enough to do 3 times. The third time took me 15 years to get around to. The first time was in 2011, and I swore I'd never do it again. About 2016, I felt crazy enough to do it again, or bad enough, or whatever I wanted, whatever I felt I needed. And so 5 years later, I did it again in 2016. Well, here we are in 2026. At the end of 2016, I did in fact swear it off again. I said, nope, never again. Glad I did it. Never going to do it again. It sucks too much. And went from 5 years to 10 years. So if the pattern continues, it'll be another 20 before I do it again, which hopefully I'll either be too sick or too dead or something to do it. And this might be it for me. But I'm sharing it with you because it is a good deal. It does work. It's fucking hard, but it's worth it, Earthlings. So here we go. We're going to go into the weigh-in then, and I'm going to see you back here in just about 45 seconds after this video clip. All right, Earthlings, here we go. Day 1 of the Master Cleanse. I am moderately motivated. It's as much as I got for you right now, but we're going to document some of the statistical stuff. Weight loss is a side effect of the Master Cleanse. It's not the purpose, but I am going to get on the scale this morning. And there is our weight, 223.6. I think that's probably upside down for you. We'll see if we can't spin it around when we edit the video. Benchmarks are benchmarks. More from the mic. Here we go. All right, so that was the morning of day 1. And take this opportunity to tell you an amusing story, not to me, to you, about the evening of day 1. When you do a cleanse, you have to flush what is being released by your body outward. There are 2 ways to do that in the books. One is a saltwater flush, which I am familiar with, done it every time I've done these cleanses. I'll talk about that in a little bit as well. But the other is a laxative tea, like an herbal laxative tea. You can buy these in specialty stores, stuff like that, or maybe in a grocery store. I don't know. Your grocery store might be cool that way. But I was in Whole Foods getting the stuff I needed for this thing, the grade B maple syrup and all that. And they have, in Whole Foods, of course, a big fucking tea section. So I perused it and found this. Smooth Move. Super clever title. Totally inaccurate. The move that I experienced, it was fucking catastrophic. And here's how that went. I know about myself that I normally require an extra dose of about anything. I'm a big guy to take the effect that most people would get with a normal dose. So I took 2 of the Smooth Move tea bags. I put them in a very large mug of boiling water, steeped them for 15 minutes, and then I pulled them out, squeezed the tea bags, just like the instructions say, by the way, and got that stuff as potent as I possibly could to get my maximum impact. I sipped that tea over about 30 minutes. It was delicious, perfectly fine. I enjoyed it very much. And I went up and went to bed about a half hour after that. Felt great. About 4 a.m., not so great. I woke up to stomach cramps, like a flexing of my abdominal muscles. Very unique. I've had stomach cramps before, nothing quite like this. Now, the book even talks about laxative teas doing that. Guess what doesn't talk about the laxative teas doing that? They wouldn't sell very many if they talked about it. But I did read it later and realized it was normal. But I felt terrible. I had to roll myself out of bed in spite of being half awake. And when I finally did so, that amount of time that tea had had to work, loosen up whatever was still going on inside of my body and get that into a flowing form, chemically, that did some stuff that made me want to throw up, shit at the same time, and neither one of them was going to be very easy if I didn't get my ass to a toilet. So I go ahead and get out of bed, and when I stood up, I was shaky. And if you can think and imagine about, non-constipated bowels with a double dose of laxative herbal tea, loosening, churning, all the stuff that's been in there God knows how long, that was affecting my entire body. I had to put my hands on the frame of my door to steady myself before I left the bedroom, and I still fell to my knees. I was like, what? But I was like, I got to make it to the toilet downstairs where the bidet is. Quick digression, America, we're behind on the debate, on the bidets. Behind on the bidet is not a pun. Neither is bidets are the shit. But they are, and we are. So that's another topic. We're not going to go off topic. I've said my piece for now. But I knew I had to get down there, and I made it. Cool thing about that bathroom is that the porcelain sink on the opposite wall, it's a real small bathroom, is right in front of you when you're on the toilet. So I was able to lay my head on that ice cold, or that very cold, it's wintertime, porcelain while I was doing my thing with the backside on the toilet, and made me that much more comfortable. About 5 minutes in, I was like, I think I have to throw up as well. I think I'm going to explode out of both ends, even now. And I wasn't sure which way it was going to go. I wasn't sure if I should flush, and, the confusion part about which end's going to come next. I held my ground, and thank goodness everything came out the backside. I did end up getting up about halfway through the experience as well and grabbing a bag of ice from my freezer. I put the ice on the back of my neck, my forehead on the porcelain, because I was hot sweating. I was just wet with sweat on my face. Very unsettling, to the point that I was considering whether or not I needed to call 911 because it was an unfamiliar feeling. Like, am I killing myself here? The good news is the answer is no, I was not. About 10, 12 minutes total, I started to feel a lot better. And as everything stopped coming out, I realized that I was going to be okay. Heart rate went down, sweat went away. I melted like half that bag of ice. I put that in the sink, and I was like, I think I'm good. I went up and went to bed, slept great. But you need to know that there's some stuff in your body that if you decide to remove it, and I'd been drinking lemon juice all day, by the way, as well, so that process had begun. There's some chemical stuff down there that if it doesn't belong and it's all being asked to leave at once, your body's like, what the fuck over? An old Air Force term, WTFO, we used to say on the radio when we were confused. My body was confused last night. That was the first speed bump. The next morning, we'll tell you that story quickly too, because it's another problem you might encounter should you try to do this. I can't imagine why you'd try after all this stuff I'm going to tell you, but I am going to tell you the good stuff at the end as well, and that's why you're going to do it. The saltwater flush is the other purge, and you do that every morning. I did it in the evening during my first 2 cleanses, but the books, I realized, because I'd never read the books until this one, say to do it in the morning. So I switched it up, but I went down that morning after my bad experience the night before to do my saltwater flush. Imagine a river. And what you're doing in a cleanse is you're taking all the sediment, if it's a clear water flowing river, all the sediment is getting churned up and loosened. You got to get it out. And the salt water is like the clear water that becomes murky and gross as it all gets churned up, but it flows it all downstream, out the back, win-win. So that's what I'm trying to do. And I sat around in my living room waiting to feel the urge to go, and it never came. Bummer, right? So I was a little disappointed, but the book addresses it. If that happens to you, add more salt. So I did from day 3 on a additional teaspoon of the non-iodized sea salt. Perfect flushes every time, whoosh, all the way out the back. And it's actually pretty eye-opening because what comes out when you start, my first 2 experiences with the cleanse was some black shit that wasn't shit. It was just gross, icky, really super duper duper dark stuff. Highly unpleasant to look at and smell. Flush quick. But it gets better as you go. This cleanse, it wasn't as black, still pretty dark. Maybe I'm a little bit healthier with the exercise and the fitness that I have now that I did not have back then. And that's probably a big reason for it. But be prepared to see stuff that you don't want to see. But understand on the upside that stuff used to be inside you. Ugh. Now it's out, now it's gone. And that's a good thing. If that's not evidence of what this thing is doing, I don't know what is. So yeah, herbal laxative teas, saltwater flushes, everything designed to keep everything moving down there, get everything out. And it's a good thing. Another physiological indicator that I noticed that I had never noticed before, and it probably happened, but I didn't notice, was that my urine was the darkest color I'd ever seen. Very clear, not cloudy, but like amber. And that was weird too. For a couple of days, right at the beginning, and all I was doing was hydrating. So you know it's not hydration. You know it's what's in the water. You pee a lot, but it all comes out that color. That's not normal. But it does clear up. It does get better, just like the saltwater flushes do. As your cleanse goes on, those flushes will get lighter and lighter. They'll never get clear. You're always going to have something murky down there that's going to be washing through as your body processes stuff. But you get to use those as indicators in addition to that tongue color thing I talked about earlier. And it all tells you that everything's going exactly the way it's supposed to go. As far as my cleanse, here comes my day 3 weigh-in. All right, it's day 3 of the master cleanse. Lots to say. It's mostly going to be from the studio, but this is the weigh-in. We're going to do this every other day as opposed to every day. Just make sure we get it documented as to what's going on with the body weight side of this whole experience. Stepping on the scale. All right, there's 219.4. So as expected, coming down. A lot that has to do with what has been expelled from the inside of the body that's normally in there, as opposed to the standard weight loss stuff. But the rest of the commentary will come from the studio. Miraculously, I'm feeling pretty good so far. Woohoo! Lost 2 pounds. Figure I lost 1.8 of that in my dual laxative tea incident that first night. But yeah, you would have expected more, I would have thought, in the first couple of days due to the elimination of the stuff that's just always in your gut, the stuff flowing through, stuff that's been in there a long time. The whole combination of all of that you're eliminating would result in some weight loss. So the fact that there are a couple of pounds gone is not surprising at all. I'm actually surprised there wasn't maybe 1 or 2 more. But we'll see how it goes as we progress with the empty belly, and I'll be sure and let you know. One of the things as you move forward in something like this that I want to talk about continuing is your normal routines. One of the ways that I maintained normal routines is with my exercise, and day 2 was a gym day for me, my normal rhythm, and it works out great because I was hoping to get a gym day in early in the cleanse so I could get one last good solid strength workout before any residual benefit of the calories I had been consuming is totally gone. And I did have a good workout. I already noticed a strength difference, though. I was able to do the same number of reps I do at my bench weight, my normal weight, but I had to do them over more sets. Worked out really hard and felt really good afterwards. But just understanding that when you're putting nothing in your body except, grade B maple syrup as a fuel, you're going to see differences. And don't be alarmed by that because they're going to come back. We'll talk about that later as well. But when you come off this thing, the efficiency your body's going to have without the gunk and sludge bogging you down is pretty sweet. I also went on a run recently, day 4 actually, so it would have been the day after the day 3 weigh-in that you just listened to. And that was its own thing too. Funny story attached to that run and attached to another physiological side effect that I'll tell you about here is it's wintertime. And it's effing cold outside right now. It's about 28 degrees on day 4 when I went on that run. And that did not pair well with something else that was going on that I forgot about before I left to go on the run. That is, since I've been back better in shape and whatever, it's been 6-7 years since I did that for myself, about the same time I got back into flying, my metabolism has gone up. And I generate body heat easily. Sometimes more so than I would like. But the body heat thing is a product of metabolism when you have stuff to metabolize. And I have noticed in the last couple days that I've got like the chills a lot because there's nothing in there. My body's still working at the same pace due to my fitness or whatever, but it's not metabolizing anything, so there's no heat. So anyway, I get out the door and I start the run, and I'm about I couldn't have been 50 yards, less than a block down the street. And I was like, it is cold. I run in colder than this sometimes. And what's wrong with, oh, yeah. And I almost turned around. I was like, this is going to be a tough 4 miles. But I am not a quitter, fortunately, and I did the whole run. It was not pleasant, but I did make it happen and got through it. But acknowledging the fact that the chills coupled with the temperature was not necessarily the best formula for a highly comfortable exercise experience was humorous to me. I was like, oh, maybe I should have put that 2 and 2 together beforehand. We got that done. Exercise, whatever other routines you have, keep that stuff going while you're doing this. It keeps the metronome ticking, so you're not just sitting around waiting for it to be over. I think that's really important. That's it for now. We'll get to the next weigh-in, and we'll come right back and talk about some more stuff. I should have said some more shit, because you're just about out of shit by this point in the Master Cleanse. All right, Earthlings, we're back from a run. It's day 4 of the cleanse. It's pretty cold outside. I don't know if you can see the red, pink fingers here. Just a little chilled, if you will. Oh, almost forgot. This is what your trash looks like when you're consuming as many lemons as me. I'm starting to put some of them over here in the first lemon bag that's empty. But yeah, we'll do a little bit more of the factual stuff, more of the experience, recount and whatnot from the studio this evening when I start to put this episode together, but want to do some snippets along the way. The 4-mile run is just a sort of a demo of the fact that I'm trying to maintain a normal life, I guess, while I do this cleanse. I got to the gym the other day, and I was a little weaker, didn't have the calories in me that I normally have. The runs tend to be mind over matter, though, and so the 4 miles that I normally do, I was able to do again. I feel a little spent here at the end of it, but that's part of the deal. All right, it's day 5 of the Master Cleanse. This is our every other day weigh-in. 1/3 of the way to my first recovery day. The Master Cleanse being a 14-day exercise for me, meaning day 15, I'll be drinking orange juice, start to reconstitute that digestive system. It's going to taste like liquid velvet, but for now we're in the middle of this thing. See how we're doing. All right, 218.6 is another pound gone. Only a pound, pretty interesting. Nothing but that lemonade going into the system. Been doing a lot of exercising too. Anyway, day 5, more from the studio. That's all for now. Yeah, so that was day 5 for the weigh-in. Another pound off, and we are live now as well. We were live the whole time, but we were thinking back during the first couple recordings because it's all happening tonight, and then everything else will be off into the future. But if I appear to be in good spirits, it's because I am. I am faking it just a little bit. There's nothing fun about how badly you want to eat a cheeseburger and stuff along the way, but more or less, I'm really surprised regarding hunger. Hunger pains are a really serious part of this. You got to get over it at the beginning, and then they kind of do go away, but then they kind of come back again a little further down the road, and then they go away again. I have not been terribly hungry on this particular cleanse. I don't know what to say about that. I'm just reporting what I've been experiencing. I have been a little fatigued, but really only while exercising. Normally, like just moving around the house and living my life. Like today, I vegged out most of the day. I played a shit ton of Xbox. I feel great. And that's kind of surprising as well. I remember this being harder. Overall feeling good. That is unexpected. That is not what I was expecting. The emotional side is real, Earthlings. It is easy to face something challenging and realize how almost inconsequential it might seem to give up. And not giving up is really the win in this. This is a discipline exercise as much as it is a physiological, beneficial exercise. And the cravings for the deliciousness of the food that you're used to is going to cause some stuff to go on inside here and here, completely unrelated, well, related, but completely independent of what's going on down here. Cause and effect, yes. Separate issues, yes. All I can say about that is you're stronger than you think, everybody. You're stronger than you think. And I've got an episode coming up about that. It's just about where your limits are where your personal limits are and realizing that they're way, way farther out than you think. This is one of those things that teaches you that, allows you to prove to yourself that that's true. And so in spite of the fact that so far I'm kind of in a cruise control mode, today was the first day I was like, man, I'd really like something different to eat. But it hasn't been as challenging as I thought. I really struggled in my first one. And as I recall in the second one too. I just remember it being no fun and getting really sick of this concoction. I really am not minding it that much this time. But when that stuff happens, you got to choose the right thing, and that emotional struggle, in the books, they talk about just realizing what you've got to go through to get well. The pain, whether it be mental or physical, is your body healing itself, getting rid of bad stuff, winning the discipline victories, and all of it ends, and there's pride at the end, and there's health at the end, but you've got to win the battles in the middle. And that's something that is, it's a different subject, but it's on topic for this off topic. So I wanted to bring it up. At any rate, 5 days down and 2/3 to go until we're in our recovery phase. So on we go. You may have only been through 1/3 of the cleanse with me so far here on Off Topic, but part 2 is going to be the second 2/3. It's going to come fast and furious. More real-time videos for the moment-by-moment master cleanse experience. You've heard about the hell, you've heard about the catastrophe. Now it's time to reap the benefits with me. Part 2's coming up next. We'll see you there.